Mr. Blue wants to open his own business. Episode 4. Mr. Blue has to decide which type of company he will open in Norway. In the last episode, Mr. Blue saw some business model examples and got very familiar with the canvas. In this episode, Mr. Blue has to decide which type of company he will open in Norway. Mr. Blue searched the internet and discovered that there is a website in Altinn in English with very practical instructions on how to open and run a business. He followed this link. He decided to write down the most important information he learned. In Norway, Mr. Blue can open many different types of companies, but two of them are more used. First, a sole proprietorship, enkelt mannsforetak, enk, or second, a limited liability company, AS. In both cases, he has to go to Altinn to register the new company. Mr. Blue wanted to get some statistics about new companies in Norway, so he went to the Statistisk Sentralbyrå, the official statistics website in Norway, to get some numbers. He wanted to know how many companies there are in Norway, how many new companies are created, their type, and their activity. First, he discovered that there are more than 420,000 companies in Norway. 54% of them are IS and 41% are ENK. The rest is about other types of companies. In the last 10 years, he saw that the number of IS increased much more than the ENK. In the last quarters, Mr. Blue found that, like him, there are around 16,000 other people opening a company in Norway. When he checked where these companies were created, he realized most of them are in the Oslo and Akershus. Finally, he saw what was the activity of the new companies. Most of them are in professional, scientific, and technical activities. Some are in construction, and the rest are in the arts, entertainment, and recreation. So, what is the difference between an ENK and an IS? A sole proprietorship company, an ENK. This is the easiest company to work with. It is very much connected to the person who opens it. If the company goes bankrupt, Mr. Blue becomes personally responsible for all the debts. If he does not pay the debts of the company, his personal finances will be affected. He will not be able to get any credit or loan from any bank until he pays all of its debts. A sole proprietorship company, also, while opening the company, Mr. Blue must make sure to be clear and detailed while describing the main occupation of his new company. For example, he should not say he wants to open a construction company. He must also say if it is going to be related to plumbing, painting, or groundwork. What are the advantages and disadvantages of opening an ENK? The advantages are: it's easy to start, there are no requirements for startup capital, foundation documents, and board, and the company is 100% controlled by Mr. Blue. He can use his business profits any way he wants. The disadvantages? It's personal responsibility. Mr. Blue's own personal things will be used when his business owes money. Second, investors do not like if there is a lot of money involved because of the risk associated with his personal finances. And third, he will pay taxes on all profits, even if he does not take out everything for his personal use. The second type of company is a limited liability company, an IS. A limited liability company. In this company, Mr. Blue can have partners and his personal responsibility is limited to the capital he put in the company. This means if the company has debts, his personal things will not be used to pay them. If Mr. Blue wants new investors in his company, he can sell part of his shares. He learned the price of the stocks should be low to make it easier to sell them. If Mr. Blue decides to have an AS, it would be better for him to have a co-founder, that is, a partner since the beginning of the company. He will also have to have a board of directors who is responsible for the administration of the company. What are the advantages and disadvantages of opening an AS? The advantages: he can be employed in his own company. The risk is lower as he has no personal responsibility. It shows more seriousness to investors and bankers. He has to pay lower wealth tax than as an owner of an Inc., and the company is more flexible to bring new partners and to increase its capital later. The disadvantage is only one. Mr. Blue will have to follow the laws for AS companies that is called Aktieloven. It became simpler after the change in the Company Act in 2013. But he has to pay more attention to a lot of rules and regulations that are more complex than the ones for an Inc. Does Mr. Blue have to physically go to the Brønnøysund registry office? No, he can open his company online using his Altinn login. The pages are in Norwegian, but they are very simple to understand. Here are some examples of pages Mr. Blue will have to visit and fill out with the correct information. He can also call the office if he has some doubts. The number is very easy to find online. Mr. Blue now understands the two types of company he can open in Norway, the Inc. and the AS. He now knows the advantages and disadvantages of each of them. In the next episode, he will continue his project.